Hello people, welcome back to Speaking Spurs with me, Kieran, talking all things Tottenham, where you get all your Spurs updates. So, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and feel free to comment below, and I or somebody else will probably get back to you. So, a few little updates to talk about today. We're going to start with the most important one, which isn't entirely Spurs related, but it is about the gentleman that collapsed during the Spurs-Newcastle game, where we won 3-2 in the Premier League, which took us 4 points off a top spot. Yes, 4 points off a top spot, believe it or not, despite the fact that we had 3 ridiculous defeats with really poor performances. So that gentleman that collapsed, he obviously went to hospital. He is stable, fully alert, and walking about, which is absolutely fantastic news. So a massive thank you to all the fans in the stadium, the players on the pitch, the referee, the medical team at Newcastle Football Club, and everybody at the NHS and the hospital that fan was taken to. Great news, great thing for football. Now into the stories leading into the build-up to the game that we have on Thursday against Vitesse. So Nuno had a press conference. Steven Bergwijn also had a press conference, and I'm just going to give you a little roundup, really, of what Nuno had to say about Steven Bergwijn, who, if you watched the videos recently, you would have seen that he's missed the last 5 games with the ankle injury that he actually picked up on international duty. Not on the ones gone, the one before that, the international duty then. So Nuno has basically said it's a good opportunity for Bergwijn to get sharper, faster, stronger. He said, we need Stevie in our future. He is unique inside our squad. He's a very talented player, a very, very talented player. Fantastic in 1v1 situations, has good speed, things like that. We just kept singing his praises. And we know that Nuno is not somebody that traditionally comes out and talks about individual players. He has come out and said that. He said that he started the season really well, was unlucky to get injured whilst on international duty. And look, it was a difficult season for Bergwijn last season. He spent a lot of the time out of the squad, on the bench, or rotated with Lucas Moura. He had to do more of a defensive role under Jose Mourinho. Fans got on his back about the lack of attacking prowess and goal-scoring opportunities he created, chances that he may have wasted, but the role he had was completely different. Obviously, we had Gareth Bale in the squad as well, and I feel like Mourinho didn't really want him, but was being forced to play him. So Bergwijn missed out a lot, but look, there's no getting away from the fact that he's still very young, he's very talented. Hopefully he can get over his injuries. It just seems to be us and wingers. It doesn't work very well. All our wingers always seem to be injured. I mean, obviously, they are more fouled players on the pitch. They take people on. They tend to be quicker. They do more things with the ball at their feet. So tend to take on more fouls throughout the game. But look, he's got a very powerful shot on him. He is good on 1v1s. We've seen a few times little bits of skill down the wing, ghosting past people. He's got a lot of power in those legs. So fingers crossed he's come back and he can really prove his worth in a Spurs shirt. Also, in his own interview, he's saying, look, you haven't seen the best of me yet. And obviously we haven't. He was very good before we bought him. And there's the reason that we bought him. A very talented player in there. Obviously came from a weaker league. And that is always the risk when you bring players over from a weaker league. But players are scouted extensively enough now to know what they can do. Obviously, we've seen them on the international stage as well, in European competition. So there's enough evidence to know that there's a decent player inside there. So, yeah, hopefully we get to see a reinvigorated Bergwijn on Thursday. Obviously, a bit of weaker opposition than what he's going to come up against in the Premier League. Perfect opportunity for him to get some minutes under those legs. Now, also on that, the players that are going to be left behind, and if anyone's seen any of the images or footage from training, 10 outfield players were missing. Those being the 10 outfield players against Newcastle. They are all going to miss the trip, and Hugo Lloris is also going to miss the trip. So Galini will retain his place in goal for these cup competitions, which means you'll probably see Austin on the bench. So just to confirm those players, in case you didn't see the Newcastle game: Hugo Lloris, Sergio Reguilon, Eric Dyer, Christian Romero, Emerson Royale, Oliver Skipp, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Lucas Moura, Tanguy Ndombele, Heung-min Son and Harry Kane will not be making the trip. And on top of that, Matt Doherty won't make the trip. He's improving on his injury, but he's not quite ready, so he'll miss that trip as well. Which is great in a sense because we're resting some players. We're in a fairly decent position within our group at the moment. I still would expect us to go through with quite some ease. And there's plenty of players that do need minutes in their legs. It's good for rotation. Would I have maybe taken a couple of these to sit on the bench? Yes. I mean, Oliver, Skip and Pierre and Højbjerg certainly would have been two I'd have taken to come off the bench if needed, just because they offer us so much. The others, I'm quite happy for them to have a rest. I feel like we've got enough strength in depth to get us through. Question is, how much of those players been able to work together and adjust? Although really, Eric Dyer is one that wouldn't have to stay behind. He didn't play international football. Reguilon as well didn't actually play towards the end of the international break. Tanguy and Ndombele. There's plenty of players that he could have taken from there, but look, he obviously believes in the rest of the squad. It's a game we should get through. Obviously, that's travelling again. The South American lads certainly should be missing the trip. They definitely need the rest. They've done more than enough over the international break. And then all of those players played 90 minutes against Newcastle. So, yeah. A player that we could see appear in that game, Marc-André. So for those of you that don't know, he's a player that's come through the youth ranks. He is a lot bigger than he was last season. He's put on some bulk, so he's a lot stronger. He's a very attacking player. This season so far in the youth squads, he has scored 6 goals in 7 games. He's also come up with 2 assists. So it'll be exciting to see if he gets a start. So he's been training. Other players that you could see that we've already seen previously in pre-season, Niall John, Harvey White and Dane Scarlett. They also train with the first team squad. I mean, maybe they were just to make up numbers because those guys are missing from training, so they pulled them up. But Marc-André is certainly someone that's looked impressive so far this season within the youth setup. And it would be nice for him to get an appearance. Don't know whether it's going to be a start or not, but he could very well make his debut for Spurs on Thursday. And that'll be great for the club. We love seeing people come through. If we just move on quickly to transfer news. Now, obviously, when we talk about strikers, Harry Kane, we know at the moment is set to stay for the foreseeable future. The club don't seem to be willing to let him go no matter what. Dane Scarlett obviously isn't ready yet. Troy Parrott is out on loan, performing very well, but I still don't think by next season he's going to be ready to come in as a main striker. I think he needs to then step back up into the Championship after this season to give it another run there. Then we've been linked with many players that you would have seen me speak about several times. But another striker that we're now being linked with, as well as several other teams, and shock horror again, West Ham are another team that are looking at supposedly a player that we're being linked with. He's being looked at by other teams around Europe, and that guy is Paul Onuachu. So he's a striker for Genk. They apparently want 20 million for him, £20 million. I don't even think that's euros, which I feel might put a few people off. However, although it's a weaker league, his goal scoring record has been decent. So he's a 6'7" striker. He's 27 years old, so he's a year younger than Harry Kane. He's coming into good years of his career now. So yes, he's tall. He's powerful. He has 11 goals in 11 games so far this season, so he started very well. Last season, he had a very good season as well, 33 goals across all competitions. He's a Nigeria international, and I think in his debut for them, he scored in very little seconds against Egypt, if I remember rightly. He first came to prominence at FC Midtjylland. So again, not a bad club. They've got good European pedigree. And it is expected that scouts from many clubs across Europe will be having a look at him in Thursday's Europa League tie. So that is the newest striker that we are being linked with. Not any of the big names that we would like to see. However, what do we know? Sometimes strikers just come out of nowhere and explode onto the scene. But at the moment, look, he seems to have a very good goal scoring record, and goals breed confidence no matter what level you're at. So that is it for today. A nice short video for you. Probably just over the 10-minute mark by the time I wrap up. Could be a little bit earlier. But thanks for sticking around for your daily update. Obviously, we've got the game tomorrow, so we will then review that afterwards. Thank you for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the video with a like and comment. Stay safe, guys. And as always, come on, you Spurs.